It's Talk Funny, a podcast by Mark Bailey and comics from all over. We ended up in Japan because AA is for weak people. The Talk Funny podcast from Nagoyaradio.com and Nagoyacomedy. Here's Mark Bailey.
And here we are again with Tim Lennane. This is Talk Funny. I'm Mark Bailey. So in the last episode, Tim, we were talking about your Hollywood career. This is really interesting to me because my comic partner, he went to Hollywood. He was in a movie called, I guess it's called a bit part.
Yeah.
He was in the Jim Carrey movie, Truman Show, the Jim Carrey movie. Right. It. He was the newscaster. And there's a little bit, you remember that part, right? There's a newscaster.
Yeah.
So Jim Carrey has the TV on, and then on the TV is a newscaster, and that's my former comedy partner. So I'm surprised you don't remember that part of the movie.
Don't.
It was 7 seconds long.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've been in films too.
Cool. And then, so he never made it. I don't know why, but he does still get residuals from that. So what movies were you in? So you were a writer, and what else you were doing? You were directing?
I was set to direct. I never directed anything. However, I produced a small children's pilot called Fireflies, Fantastic Fables. That went nowhere. We produced that with a dear friend of mine named John. He was actually quite a good director. He had directed a bunch of independent movies, but we got in over our head as doing some kids stuff. And it was about a book. You can open up this book, and every time the book opens, it's a different story that applies to the person who's looking at the book.
Oh, cool.
And kind of a magic dragon thingy going on. And we hopefully launch a TV series that way. But there's a whole fountain story in there that I use whenever I try to produce anything anymore. I'll tell you about the fountain later.
You know, I noticed something about people that worked in Hollywood. They do a lot of name dropping. So feel free to. Do you have any celebrity stories or anything that we could actually say on the podcast that we won't get sued for?
Yeah, I actually do. I once had a company that used to do electronic. What is it? E-commerce. We do some e-commerce solutions for adult websites. Maybe. Right. We actually had our offices right in downtown 90210 Beverly Hills.
Cool.
I'd commute from the South Beach area to all the way into Beverly Hills, and I would go up and down in the parking lot, and I ran into Jamie Lee Curtis there.
Wow.
From Halloween fame. And she's as good looking at 50 whatever. I was like maybe 30 something. She was awesome looking. And I kept bumping into her. And one time I'm down there and she stops and she like turns to me and she goes, "Are you following me?" I said, "No, I'm in the same building." She's like, "You're stalking me." I said, No. I work here.
Oh.
That was like the big, talk between me and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Cool.
But then that's because we were located in Beverly Hills. I think the highest level actor I ever met was, not really met, but sighting, more or less, was Harrison Ford. In my office in Beverly Hills, there's a small pizza shop right down one block over.
Right.
We go down there with the crew, and it has like a big wind. We're all sitting there eating slices of cheese, and this SUV pulls up. Now it hops Harrison Ford, and he's looking in the window, bobbing his head, and looking at us eating pizza, and we're like, "Is that Harrison Ford?" So yeah, It's Harrison Ford. And it's like, "Hey, Harrison Ford." And he's like, we're waving. He's still like looking at us kind of puzzled. And he realizes we're not the jewelry store that's next door. And he goes to the jewelry store next door and goes in. But yeah, that was my Harrison Ford meeting.
Cool.
Now, anybody that I actually that's not a great story though. It's not a good story.
Yeah, it's kind of like a sighting.
Yeah, it's a sighting.
I had one you might like. I had one in New York. I'll turn your mic down when you give me a signal. I'll turn your mic down because I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that when I have to cough. You can cough if you have to, and that's why I like editing. All right, so I was in New York a long time ago, and I had a show at a station that doesn't want me to name them anymore. So anyway, then I came to Japan, got married, Japanese wife, go back to the States. I want to show off to her. This is the station I used to work at. It's in the Empire State Building. You can figure it out, but which station it was. I took her in there. I wanted to show off. I go in there, and they happen to have a guest. Well, I guess the reveal will be later. They happen to have a guest, very, very big singing guest, but she's not wearing makeup, and she has glasses on and kind of frumpy hair. She doesn't look like, when I say her name, she doesn't look like what she looks like on album covers. And I just thought she was the new secretary. She was sitting at the secretary's desk. So I came in. I don't know who the secretary is now. It wasn't the same when I left. I told my wife, I'm going to introduce you to my boss, my former boss. So I turned to who I thought was the secretary, and I said, "Could you get us some coffee?" And she goes, "I'm sorry." She's looking behind her. So it was Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
And she goes, "I'm sorry." I said, "Coffee?" Because in New York, I'm just used to people with attitudes. I'm like, what's she being so lazy about, you know? She goes, "You want me to get coffee?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Do you want me to draw a picture or, you know?" She said, "You want some coffee?" I'm like, "Yes." She goes, "I'll get you some coffee." So she got 2 cups of coffee, slammed them on the table, right, and spilled a lot. And I said, "Well, what's with the attitude?" And then my boss came in. My wife is like, "Doshano, why is she angry?" I'm like, "I don't know why the secretary is angry. You know, and then my boss comes in and he's like, "Mark, have you ever met Mariah Carey before?" I'm like, "Oh, Mariah Carey." She goes, "Yeah, I just had to serve him coffee." Is the only system ending? Then I told my wife, and she's like hitting me, you know, like Mateo Haskashi. It's embarrassing. She's like, "How could you do that?" I'm like, so I just told Mariah Carey, "Look, you're not, you know, you're dressed for a radio interview, right? And you're not wearing.
You're not helping yourself there. Really? Come on now.
You don't look glamorous, you know." And she's like, touching her hair. I'm like, "See, I mean, your hair's not even done, you know." And she's like. So she's like, "I can see why you're a former employee." Right? So, touche. And then she came to Japan when I was at Radio I, and she was in Nagoya, and we called her agent and said, "You want to be on Mark's show?" And she's like, and my agent explained, "Yeah, it's a real funny story. He tells that story sometimes that he met you." And she's like, "Oh, is that and this is a clean show, is that the expletive that made me serve him and his wife coffee?" Yeah, I don't think I'm coming to your radio station." So
She didn't come to yours and say, "Hey, serve me coffee"?
No, we had it all ready because I said, have her come in and I'll serve her coffee. And that will end the karma circle, right? So did you have you had another story?
Yeah, no, I do. I have 2 real actual interactions. Robert Hayes from Airplane?
Right, yes.
Robert Hayes from Airplane, and I met him on the Fantastic Firefly.
He's the guy with the silver hair.
No? He's the pilot.
He's a pilot, okay.
He's the pilot. He played in one of the episodes called Three Sillies. He plays this dumb guy who's supposed to be, the moon is falling into a pond and he's trying to rake it out. And so it's falling in. You can rake it. What a decent guy, though. What a nice guy.
Cool.
And then there was, who is the lady in red?
Yeah. Gorgeous, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if she
wasn't gorgeous when I
looked her up recently and she didn't age well.
No, she did not. And, she was also in the kids' TV series that we were trying to pilot.
Our crack staff is working on that right now.
And,
by crack staff, I mean our staff is on crack.
I can't believe it, man. Anyway, she was married to Steven Seagal.
Kelly LeBrock,
Steven Seagal, and I would say, she plumped up a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of Botox I'm seeing on this one.
Kind of got a little big, but she was actually really, really. It was. All the producers of that show that were at the studio were like, "Oh, it's Kelly Brock." They're all like, memory
of her. The memory of her.
The memory. They're all like, and they meet her and like they're so disappointed.
It's the spank bank memory. It's not the actual person. It's what you remember.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. She was married to Steven Seagal, and there was part of the children's fairy tales was that we had one tale that involved we had to get a cow. And Kelly Brock had a cow.
And Roseanne Barr wasn't available?
No.
Hey, see what I did there? Roseanne Barr already hates me. It's fine.
That's good. Well, she hates everybody, right?
Yeah. Because I'm a man, so.
Well, you're not married to her. You could have been.
Not anymore. Yeah, thank God. I mean, that reminds me actually of a story about coming to Japan. It's like you said you dated a girl in the States. Dating a Japanese girl in the States and dating one in Japan is different, as I found out.
Just slightly different, yes.
I mean, yeah, there was a girl that she was a Japanese girl, and she was dating one of my friends, and she was so exotic in the States. She's so exotic. She's from Japan, and I didn't speak the language or anything, and I just wanted her. I gotta have me a Japanese girl, right? So as soon as I came to Japan, I looked her up. She lived in Tokyo. I looked her up, and I didn't realize how expensive the bullet trains are back and forth. And I was going every weekend, and I'm like, I gotta have her. It's kind of like Jesse's girl. It's like I gotta have my friend's girl. I just gotta have her. He had her. He doesn't deserve her. Mm-hmm. I deserve her. I should have her. So I'm dating her, and she's American rude. She's not Japanese.
Oh, really? That's a shock.
Girl. She's not a Japanese girlfriend. She's an American girlfriend. She's been spoiled. She's been in the States. So we're outside, and she's like, I don't want to kiss in public. Well, don't hold my hand in public, And so I'm out, and I didn't realize, because I'm used to American rude girls, right? And so I didn't realize. Then I met this other girl on my bullet train home, and she was Japanese girl. She's never been tainted, never been to the States.
Virgin field.
She's never been to the States. She's never had an opinion. She doesn't know how to. I met her. I'm like, wow, you were really nice. What part of Japan are you from? And I got to go to that place, right? Where do they grow you? Where do they grow girls like that? And so I dated her, and then the next time I went back to Tokyo, I broke up with the American rude girl, and I said, real Japanese girls are nice. They're nice, and you've been in the States, and guys put up with a lot more, in my opinion, from girlfriends. You see all those romantic comedy movies where you got the feisty girl.
You're going to dig yourself a hole here, man.
I'm not helping.
You're going really. That's the whole Asian thing.
I'm not helping. Yeah, so I realized that dating Japanese girls, I enjoy that a lot better than dating girls that are Japanese and have been to the States.
I like the dating part too.
It's kind of
The married part's not so much fun.
Exactly. That's what I found out. It's like I thought I figured it out, right? So I'm going to marry a Japanese girl because they're nice. Well, Japanese girlfriends are nice.
Yeah, they
are. I recommend
as
many as you can have.
Fantastic.
But I wouldn't recommend a Japanese wife. And this is after I got married. It's like I just got married, right? And then a week later, I'm standing with my wife's friends, and we're standing. I may have told you this story. I was standing at a corner, and they said, "Your wife, she'll be back in a second." And I said, "Who's that girl over there smoking?" "Well, that's your wife." "My wife doesn't smoke." "Yeah. There's a lot of things. Did she mention the credit card debt yet?" "What?" There's a lot of things you don't know that they hide from you.
Well, you actually have it pretty easy. My wife pretends she doesn't know me in public.
Is that right?
It's kind of fun. It's like, I get, when the police bring me up to her and they go, "Do you know this man?" She goes, "Who is this?" "I don't know you."
Forgot where we were.
We were talking about Japanese girlfriends, I believe, and then the whole idea is that dating them is a hell of a lot of fun. And truly, right. The best woman to date in all of Asia is probably a Japanese woman. Married wise,
they change. They change. Like my wife would buy dinner every time we went out. Every time we went out, she'd buy dinner when she was my girlfriend. Then we get married, and it's like, your money, half of it's mine. But what about your money? She's like, well, my part-time job, that's my money, but half of yours is mine. Like, what? Then you move in. It's like you have these two huge closets, and so, of course, one of those is hers, and then half of the other one is hers.
That's correct, yes.
Right? That's exactly true.
Exactly how it happens. Yes.
And then it's like her money is her money. She could spend that on coffee and stuff, but how dare you buy a donut with our money?
I am so in that right now.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm the only one in this situation. I think it's a pattern. There must be a book written about it or something. I think we better wrap this up before I get
that time is flying, man.
Before I get into more trouble. This has been Talk Funny. I don't know how funny it's been, but it's been Talk Funny, and this has been Tim Lennane with Mark Bailey, and we will see you next week.